Hey guys, welcome back to Review Today. Just quickly here, a little video for Reddit. I'm not going to go too crazy into it, but basically, there was a post on one of the Marvel subreddits showing that in the first episode of the Loki show, when he gets hit by the time police or whatever they are, that he was not actually moving at 1/16th speed, even though she explicitly says that, as you can see here.
You're now moving at 1/16th speed.
Now, for whatever reason, the editors over at Marvel and the Loki show decided to say 1/16th speed and not actually do 1/16th speed. Don't ask me why, but I guess it's because in the script that sounded like it was really slow, whereas in reality a 16th speed is actually not that slow, not as slow as Loki is going, to fit the scene. So I guess they sort of slowed him down more to fit her entire speech in the scene. Anyways, the question was, how slow is he going then? Now, I, of course, thinking I'm much smarter than I am, then commented that it should be extremely easy to do this. You just go on Premiere, blah, blah, blah. Should be able to do it in like 30 minutes. Well, that was about an hour ago. And it is more difficult than I think for a few different reasons, but I'm going to show you guys my thought process as I went about this, and I do have a rough sort of estimate of how fast it's going. But the way I tried to do it was, of course, I watched the scene first through, as you can see here. He gets hit, then she says, "Oh, you're now going in 1/16th speed," and sort of wraps the thing around him. So then I wanted to then take the scene and sort of split them into two parts. So we have the right side of Loki moving however slow he's moving, and the left side in real time, presumably 1x speed. Now, if you take this at face value and you multiply Loki 16 times faster, he looks like this, which you can still see is slow motion because he's just slowly leaning, slowly falling. It's still in slow motion, so 16 speed is incorrect. Now there it is again, sped up at 16 speed over the original at the point of impact. Doesn't quite work, he's still too slow. And here's where the problem comes with where I assumed it would be easy to where it's actually not so easy, is that most shows, and I'm assuming Loki is one of those, are filmed at 24 frames a second. Pretty slow, people seem to think nowadays that like extremely high frame rate is what you want, but when it comes to movies and shows, that's actually not the case. Of course, if you're gaming or something like that where you're putting in inputs and sort of trading information with something, you want a high frame rate. But if you're filming a show and watching a show and you're just absorbing that content, shows are filmed at 24 frames a second. So when I capture this footage of Loki to use to sort of figure out how fast or slow it needs to go, when I take a 24 frames per second bit of footage and I multiply that, say, 50 times faster, I can use like frame interpolation. I will still lose those frames. I can't just gain frames, because if you're going to film something in slow motion, for example, like the slow-mo guys or something like that, they film at 600 frames a second to get something in slow motion, because then if you're watching it in slow motion, to you it looks smooth because you have all those frames in between. Whereas if I'm taking 24 frames and trying to spread that out over, say, 30 seconds, you're only looking at less than 1 frame per second. So you're looking at something and you're just seeing the choppiness of 1 frame, and then you wait 1 frame, and then you wait some more, 1 frame. So that's the problem here, is that if I wanted to simply just slow Loki down, speed Loki up to match what looks like real time, that would be extremely easy, as I said, if I had the actual footage that it was filmed with and not the footage that we are given as a show in show form. If I just filmed something in front of me, or I filmed it in slow motion and then sped it up, or if I filmed an original and slowed it down to Loki like they have done, if I was the editor, I could tell you how fast and how slow they made the footage originally. But when I'm working with, sort of secondhand footage, I have only 24 frames that I can work with. But that said, her moving at 24 frames, you can see it's very choppy. This is her at the 16th speed, but she's still moving faster, left to right than Loki is. You can see she's making much more progress across the screen than Loki is, which means, again, it's obviously not 1/16th speed, but we already knew that. So then I tried doing is testing multiple speeds using multiple different tools at my disposal to speed or slow things up. So this is using frame sampling, which is where I started to lose frames. But here is 55 times speed, and this is, I believe, pretty close to real time. So he gets hit and falls, and it's just like a hit, fall. Like, that's how fast it should be in real time. So this first one was 55 times speed, hit, fall, and this is 70 times speed, hit, fall. 70 almost seems a little fast. 55 almost seems a little too slow. I then tried to sort of say, well, if I can match her to him then, because I have all of her I can work with, and just slow her down to where the hand moving over Loki, because she reaches across him, right? If we can slow it down to where that hand is moving at sort of the same speed that Loki seems to be moving at, then we could try and figure it out. So I put them very close together like this, and if you watch the hand on the left and you watch Loki on the right at sort of the same time, you can see he's slowly moving, the hand is slowly moving with him, and it's close. But again, that's about all I can get, is close. With all these frame drops using frame sampling, again, this is frame sampling at 55 times speed. He just gets hit and falls, where the problem is that you lose those frames in between. So then this is 60 times speed using frame blending, which is supposed to smooth out slow motion. So you see it is a little better. He gets hit, and there's sort of a little delay, and then he falls. And to me, that's almost still too slow at 60 times speed. I also tried using optical flow, which is another way to speed up or slow down a video, and you get more or less the same effect. You start to just lose frames. Frame blending seemed to be the best way. As far as I can tell, somewhere between 1/50th and 1/60th. So, I'd say maybe 1/55th is probably what it is, but it is hard to tell. I'm sort of giving a range more or less to cover my own bases here, but if I had to choose, I'd say 1/55th looks to be right to me. Maybe someone misspoke in the scene. Maybe it was written on script 1/60th, and she said 1/16th. Maybe it was a mistake. But it seems that the closest I can get without much more extensive work or better, resources, I should say, is to say that Loki was not moving at 1/16th speed, but instead was moving at around 1/55th speed. Somewhere at least between, I'd say, 1/55th and 1/75th. Anywhere faster than that starts to get, too fast, and slower starts to get too slow. So if you think about it, it's a hit and then a fall. Like, you get hit, you fall, and you hit the ground. It should be just snap, snap, like 1 second, punch, fall. And if you think about that, 1/60th seems to be the closest we can get. I can't really scientifically get closer than that. There's a lot of smarter people than me out there, I'm sure, that probably can do it. If so, and someone makes a better version of this than me a little later or something, I'll try and link that down below or something like that. So check the comments, check the description, there might be a better version. But this is what I came up with in about an hour of effort. An hour more than I thought. Like I said, it really does come down to the problem of the show is filmed in 24 frames. They slow it down in their editing process, and I'm watching slow motion, and I can't speed it up without just becoming choppy, and same with slowing it down without it becoming choppy. So it is hard to tell, but if you think about it as a point of hit fall, bang 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 bang, 1/60th seems to be about right. Anyways, that's about that. I just, it was interesting. It's a little interesting question on Reddit that I thought I would give it a shot. And I definitely came off a little more cocky than I should have, because it was not so cut and dry as it should have been. But that's about it. I know not my normal content, so if you're a normal sub, I apologize. But hopefully it was still interesting in some way. And if you're viewing from Reddit, don't make fun of me too much, please. I have been humbled today. That's about it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.